Hello, my name is Chastity McCarthy, and my business continuity planning presentation is about Discover Kodiak and how they utilize business continuity planning in order to further their organization, their mission behind their organization, and be prepared for what could happen to their organization. Discover Kodiak is the Visitors Bureau for Kodiak Island. They're charged with providing things to do, different charter boat operators and accommodations throughout the island, maintaining the well-being of travelers to the area of Kodiak Island, and then also helping people plan specialty trips such as conventions and stuff of that nature. Discover Kodiak is a nonprofit. They're a 501c6 organization, and the purpose of Discover Kodiak is to promote sustainable development of the tourism industry throughout the Kodiak Island Borough, thereby increasing economic opportunities, jobs, and local tax revenues. The borough encourages travel to the public through the Kodiak Island Borough and maintains a continuing interest in the well-being of visitors to the area, as well as locals. Discover Kodiak has approximately 240 members in their organization and an elected board of directors. So the objectives for developing a business continuity plan for Discover Kodiak were so that the continuation of our organization during and following any critical incident that resulted in the disruption of our normal operational activity would happen. Business continuity plan also ensures that a recovery process for organization's critical function is defined and understood by all essential staff during this process, and also that to recognize there is a possibility of disruption of service. Discover Kodiak's objectives for their business continuity planning were specifically prevention, preparedness, and response throughout this. Some of the risk descriptions that were considered when Discover Kodiak was creating a business continuity plan was interruption to production processes, so a breakdown of the network or server that hosts all of the vital records and critical information, burglary within our organization, and cyber attacks, and then more importantly, tsunami or natural disaster. We are an island. It has happened in the past, and so the downtown location of our facility, which is right on the pier and the ferry terminal, there really is a very high likelihood, or medium, if we were to stick with the state expectancies, but there is a high expectancy that something like this could happen. And the preventative action that we took against it is to have a separate location above the high water point in the downtown area that would be our satellite location for 6 to 8 weeks until we were able to carry out our business continuity planning, and just to make sure that our operations were still smooth and running during that relocation satellite time. Interruption to production processes, the way that we've taken preventative action against that is to ensure adequate insurance coverage in place, as well as with burglary. You want to make sure that you have all of your general property and business in order through your insurance company so that you're not losing funding, or you're able to replace those items. So we have secured alternative production sites and also set up agreements with suitable suppliers within 24 hours. Cyber attacks are another issue when you're dealing with a lot of vital information being through your server, so we wanted to just ensure that insurance was in place for business interruption within those, and then also that we have really strong firewall and spyware programs that would prevent any cyber attacks within our organization. Some of the assumptions that we made for the purpose of this report were whether through fire damage, foundation instability, or biohazard, any other buildings in our region were going to be affected, and that also there was a relocation space had already been identified and ready for setting up second operations, and then also that departments have more specified business continuity plans addressed within the organization. So as I mentioned, a tsunami or other natural disaster, there is a likelihood for that here in Kodiak Island, especially with us being right on the pier. It happened in 1964. We have a history of natural disaster on the island, and this is actually the same location that our facility is now. So all the boats left the dock and actually kind of went up on shore into where our location is at this point. and that is what it looked like. We were able to rebuild from that, and our business continuity plan would make sure that that's what we could do again. So when we're looking at our critical functions within our organization, we're looking at really 4 key components that make our organization have revenue and a benefit to our membership, our 240 members. One is monthly billing. It's an annual cycle of billing per member, and it's entered into their file and paid for by cash or check. It's also transacted through QuickBooks. So we have several ways of checking that and making sure that it's all in place. Our recovery time objective for monthly billing would be 1 month. We have over $50,000 a year in membership dues that create that's basically an employment position within our organization. So should that not be there, we'd really be losing out. Another key critical function would be advertising renewal. Recovery time objective is 3 months. This is an annual advertising renewal cycle, and all the files for advertising are electronic. We use our Illustrator and Photoshop and QuickBook programs to create all those advertising files, and then we secure those through QuickBooks. Again, that's why it's really important to have a satellite server area where all of that information is stored. Membership renewal recovery time objective would be 1 month. Annual renewal of each business listing, and it can be entered in their file and paid for by cash or check. A business listing is what generates customers for our members, so we want to make sure that our listings are accurate within our visitor's guide, our business guide listings, and then also on our website, Kodiak.org. Airport rack brochure program maintenance. This is a recovery time objective of 2 weeks. That way we're updating our airport rack with up-to-date brochures and member purchases, because the people that are coming through the Kodiak Island Airport rely on our airport rack brochure program to accurately reflect what is available in our community. So what happens when you identify your key personnel, your critical functions, your risks, your assumptions, is that you want to develop a plan. And you want your business continuity plan to reflect all of the things discussed, which are a clearly defined team with a detailed plan. So how that team is going to react in a situation. And you want to make sure that you have effective testing within your plan so that your team is able to find your weak points and revisit those. You want to make sure that you have crisis communications down, employee safety under control, uninterrupted access to business resources, and also continuous IT operations, so that you're not losing any of your critical functions within your organization. So the executive director of Discover Kodiak serves as the executive authority for activation of emergency protocol in the case of extreme situations, especially where this may be necessary during a crisis period. In the case that the executive director is unavailable in the time of a disaster, the authority to make appropriate decisions on the behalf of the organization is delegated to the second highest position ranking, which is membership services. As you can see here, the city of Kodiak, the Kodiak Island Borough, and the membership kind of all join together to be a big head and a guiding force for the Discover Kodiak Board of Directors, who then manages your executive committee and your staff. The staff is kind of the low end of the totem pole when it comes to communications. However, they are the executive authority for decision making. So now that you know what the chain of command looks like, we're going to go to our relocation facility. So Discover Kodiak office is currently at 100 Marine Way, Suite 200 in Kodiak. The main building operations occur between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. with rotation on every other Saturday. Our satellite facility, or our secondary facility, should a disaster occur, would be 156 Near Island Way, which is in the Koniag space on Near Island. 14 staff are to be located there. Again, this is a Monday through Friday 8 to 5 facility. All staff, board of directors, and human resources will be located to the satellite facility and they will all be on the upper floor. The recovery time and objective points for this, again, it's defined as how quickly the process must be restored following a disaster. So to get everybody over there, it should be an immediate response. It should be immediate to get all of those vital records and sources there. The recovery point is the determination of how much data loss and in terms of time will be gathered. So when we're talking about relocating, the second thing is, what are we taking with us? Vital records and equipment involve visitor services supply for sale, so we want to be sure that we're renewing contracts and supplies with vendors, and those are located in number 3. We also want to be sure that we're taking our membership files. Our membership manager's office is going to be, all of those files are stored through the server, not in the office, and we want to make sure that we're reprinting in the case of emergency. So all those membership files will be transported to our new facility. Xerox Work Center, we want to make sure that we grab that as well out of the membership manager's office or have a secondary set up, because and we can work with our vendor through Xerox Corporation to replace that. That's really important to be able to scan any documents, fax any documents, print documents, which is honestly a lot of what our organization does. So you want to make sure that you're grabbing all those vital records. Discover Kodiak has a lot of information backed up on USBs that would be quick to grab out of in the case of emergency. What we're really looking for is when Discover Kodiak faces a disaster or an emergency, that we're able to come back as a stronger organization. We want success after disaster. We want to say that we were able to relocate all of our vital information to our secondary facility, operate out of that facility for 6 to 8 weeks, and then we were able to rebuild or repair what had happened at our original facility and get back on track. While we're spending those 6 to 8 weeks at our secondary facility, we want to say that we were able to complete all of our risk recovery times. We wanted to say that we were able to renew our membership renewals, and we were able to complete all of our key functions using our key personnel as described in our business continuity plan, and really just carry out all of our daily functions that we typically would have without losing any revenues, staff, and just maintaining that. So I just want to say thank you for having me in this class. It was really interesting, and I learned a lot, especially about what us as Discover Kodiak was doing, specifically in regards to business continuity. I was able to take a lot of what I learned back to Discover Kodiak Board of Directors and talk to them and kind of work with them to implement new ideas or new decision-making processes. And I look forward to where this class would go. I don't know if there's an upper division of this class, but I think it's definitely interesting, and I would like to see more about it. So thank you for this class, and success after disaster, that is the key.